Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today because we are joined by Candace Cameron Bure.
Yay! Thanks, David.
What's going on? I really should just say Cherry Blossom is in the house, right?
Cherry Blossom, short-lived cherry blossom. First one out in my group. Wah.
Well, listen, I mean, you have done so much in this business. Like, you're an author, talk show host, like 90s icon. Like, what made you want to say yes to The Masked Singer?
Oh my goodness. I said no to the Masked Singer 3 times before I finally said yes on the fourth time around. um, this show is so much fun, and I love that families watch it. It really is fantastic. I am not a singer, so when they've asked me to do it, I'm like, I do not want to do the show. Like, it's the one show I love to watch but don't want to be on. And I think the last time they asked me, I was thinking to myself, like, I should just say yes at this point, because then they'll finally stop asking me. Like, I just need to get it over with. And I'm either gonna it'll be fun and great, or I might fail miserably, but then they won't call again. So I finally was like, okay, I'm just gonna take the plunge. I'm gonna do it.
Well, listen, you say you're not a singer, but there is this whole series of videos on YouTube which suggests otherwise. I mean, I know that you were getting singing lessons from a trained professional.
Yeah, I did. And that was also why I felt more comfortable to say yes this time. And when I started taking those singing lessons, because that really just came out of nowhere, I was interviewing Tara Simon, this vocal coach for my podcast, and I just asked her on the side, can anyone learn how to sing? I was like, I don't have a very good voice. And she was like, oh, honey, you can learn to sing. Anyone can learn to sing. And so we decided to do that. And I had told her, I said, they've asked me to do the Masked Singer so many times, and I keep saying no because I'm too scared. And she was like, we're going to do it. I'm going to get you comfortable enough that if they ask again, you're going to say yes, and you're going to do it, and you're going to be great. So here we are.
So we really have her to thank for this, right?
We do. Yes.
When you started in this business so young, I know you worked before Full House and then you were 11 when you got the job, but look, I mean, that was lightning in a bottle, right? It lasted for 8 seasons. Like, did you have, because that was your first like real long-term job, did you have like an appreciation for, not every show is a hit show for 8 years on a major network, or, this was your first foray into the business, so to speak.
I mean, I know that now. I didn't know that as a kid, because here, my brother Kirk was on Growing Pains for 7 years. So, and then I got Full House 2 years after he had started Growing Pains. And I just thought, oh yeah, if you're an actor, like my brother was on a show, I was on a show. I thought that's how it worked. It wasn't until I got older, I'm like, wow, that really was lightning in a bottle. I mean, you said it. And yeah, and I'm so appreciative for the longevity I've had in this business, because I mean, it's been over 40 years, and I'm still working, and I still love it.
You are still working. What did you learn? I know you had such a great close relationship with all your castmates. Like, you looked to the adults like Bob Saget and John Stamos. Like, what's one thing that you took away from them that you learned from that experience?
Oh, it's always been about the relationships. It always has been. I mean, Bob was one of my favorite people in the whole world, one of my best friends. And even doing The Masked Singer was an ode to him, because it was so fun when I watched him on the show. And it's about laughing. It's about laughing and loving, and that's what Bob and Dave and John and Lori, like, that's what they cultivated on that show. And on every movie that I do, on every production I produce, that is always what I want everyone to feel.
What do you think Bob would say, like if he's looking down and watching you? You say you were out so fast, but you did it, right? You sing way better than I ever could. So
I honestly, like, I was just proud of myself. I was proud that I did it. I sang in front of people, and I'm still standing. Like, that's my takeaway. And I think Bob Bob would have said, like, you were robbed, you were great, you should have stayed on longer, I should have stayed on longer. Like, Bob would have just made jokes about it, but in an encouraging way.
Well, look, The Masked Singer isn't your first time on reality TV. Dancing with the Stars, you say that you did not finish early. You made it all the way to basically the end. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, that was crazy. I again had no dance training on that one, but it was, the difference in doing the Masked Singer and Dancing with the Stars is like I did make it to the end. I came in third. I made it to the finals, and you had this arc and the longevity of that show. So I really grew every like week to week to keep going. It was a true journey for me, and I grew so much. And because it was a positive experience too, that's also why I'm like, okay, I can do the Masked Singer. I never thought I'd win the Masked Singer. I was just hoping I'd maybe go 2 rounds, and this one was one and done. So it was a little disappointing in that sense, but it gave me a real understanding of like, this is reality television. It's just to entertain the audience. It's a big guessing game. Go have fun. Just, let it all go.
What was harder, The Masked Singer or Dancing with the Stars?
Um, Nerves wise, probably the Masked Singer. I was even more fearful to sing than I was to dance.
Wow. Would you do it again if you could?
Yeah, I would. Like redemption, man. I just want some redemption.
Right. Well, one of your jobs was being on The View. You were a co-host for 2 seasons. Look, every year, I mean, well, not every year, but there's obviously, oh, it's a liberal show, and obviously they always have like a more conservative co-host, which was you. I mean, obviously that was the role you were filling. So you knew that going in, like, did you want to do that job? Because I mean, that is a job that you're signing up for, where your view is first of all going to be criticized by a lot of people. It's going to be different than most of your co-stars. Were you just dying to be on The View?
No, I feel like I do all these things that I don't really want to do. And again, it's just like when doors open that are out of your comfort zone, I always feel like there's a reason why I should walk through it because it's going to grow me in some way. And that was the case with The View. However, on The View, they were telling us it wasn't going to be as political when they started that season. And like Raven Simone, who was a co-host at the time, we were co-hosts together, like she said the same thing. They sold it to us as being a bit more like social that year and pop culture, and then it went real political, like even more. So we were a little bit duped.
It went real political. I mean, listen, if anyone that has an opinion on anything in today's day and age, they're criticized. Like, I've had other co-hosts of The View on this show here. Like, did you go down that road of like reading the public comments? Not even, it's not towards you, it's just towards everyone. Did you get into that? Because it's a dark road to go down, right?
So dark. Of course, I read the comments. I wouldn't respond to them, but yeah, they're pretty mean. They're pretty mean and pretty awful. But I always think that as much